Hello, my name is Emily Crow from Crochet Creations and welcome to my YouTube channel, The Cozy Crow. Today I'm going to be talking about all the things that I have been knitting on and crocheting recently. It is a nice cozy day and so I'm wearing a sweater. This is my No Frills by Petite Knit, and when I purchased this pattern I didn't realize it was not size inclusive, so be mindful of that. But I used Knit Picks palette for the main color that I held underneath, and the color was Ice Lily, and then the mohair that I used on top of it is Madeline Tosh Impressions in the color New Moon. I love how cozy this sweater is. I definitely need to make more cozy sweaters for me. Like I said, it is a dark, dreary, rainy day today, and so I am embracing the cozy. I'm excited to talk about all the things I've been working on recently in my fiber arts. First and foremost, I have braces. They are new. I've had them for about a week. My mouth doesn't hurt nearly as bad, but I'm still having a little bit of a hard time talking, so I do apologize for any kind of like slurring or anything. You can hear as I say the word slurring. Ooh, so hard to talk. So I'm doing my best, but thank you for your grace as I am adjusting to having orthodontic stuff on. This is the Crochet and Knitting Podcast, episode 40. Quite a few things this month. I had a few test knits that I had to finish, so I'll start off with those. This first one is the Pim Pom Shawl by Laura Penrose Knits. Ta-da! And it's actually a shawl for my daughter. I'm gonna wait till she gets home today and then hopefully I can finish filming a reel about it. I do need to take pictures of it too, so I need to remember to do that. But this is for her. I use mostly Treehouse knits, and the colors Another Galaxy and Dusk is this purple, and then this light purple is just from my stash. I think it's like a hawthorn speckle. The texture is not quite the same between these two bases, unfortunately, but it's the color I felt like went with the rest of the shawl the most, and I barely did not have enough yarn, and so I kind of made some of the scallops in this random contrast color. So like I said, I made the child size, and so I thought that having 100 grams of each color would be sufficient. I had to modify the pattern because I ran out of yarn in this main color just a few rows before I was supposed to actually switch, and so I started doing the baubles a little early, and so that meant that I knit more rows in the contrast color, and so then that made me run out of the contrast color early. So if I had a little bit more of the main color, I would not have run out of the contrast color, if that makes sense. But I am overall happy with how it turned out. It was a nice easy knit with just some simple increasing. There's an I-cord. These baubles took a long time. I would sit down and do like 4 or 5 baubles at a time and then put this down and go work on something else just because I did not want to do this. I did do a special trick for making these baubles pop a little bit more. You basically take a stitch next to the bauble, you twist it, and then wrap that twisted stitch up and over the bauble in order to kind of like squeeze the base of it and kind of keep that bauble on the front face of your fabric. And I think it turned out really well. That was also like, you know, a little bit on the tedious side, but I feel like anything with baubles is going to be a little tedious, but I'm happy with how that turned out. And these scallops are really fun. I want to make a shawl for myself. I'm not sure what colors I would do, probably something a little bit more neutral, but I would need more yarn to make something for me. So this is a pretty good size, so we'll see how my daughter likes it. Now that it is like all done and ready to go for her, I'm really excited. I have not knit anything for my daughter in a while. Occasionally I worked on socks and stuff, but as far as a bigger piece, I have not. She usually just borrows my hats and things. We'll see how she feels about having her own shawl. Another couple test knits. This pair of socks is called the Lightning Socks. It's from the Storm Season Sock Collection by Carly Perrins, and I did this in January, but I just finished the second sock this month, so that's why I'm mentioning here. They're no longer a half-finished object. They are a completed project now, and this sock has just cables on the front and back of the leg that were fun to do. Just a little bit of detail, and the rest of the sock is a rib, so pretty easy to make. And honestly, I was worried that these socks would bleed because of how bright and red this toe and heel are, but they didn't bleed too bad. I used color catchers and it worked out pretty well. The color I used for the contrast is leftover Woolberry Fiber Co. in the color Raspberry Cordial. The main color I used was Speckled Finch Fibers in the color Eloise. And I am just so happy with how I matched that. I feel like it matches those like magenta speckles perfectly. So I'm really happy about that. A pair of socks that I tested that has some color bleeding I'm not happy with, mostly because they do not match, and so I feel like I have to reblock these socks together to make them match. Oh my goodness. These are the Daedalus socks by Kelly Menzies, and I knit this, test knit this month, and I just love this cool pattern. Daedalus, if you're not familiar, he's a human who worked for King Minos in ancient Greek stories, and he made this maze underneath the castle, underneath the palace where the Minotaur lived. And so he made this like impossible maze basically. So that's what inspired these socks. Super fun. I thought they'd be great for St. Patrick's Day with the fun colors. It's just an undyed skein for the white, but the green is called Before the Fall. It's from Dyeing Wishes Yarn Co. And this is a DK weight sock pattern. I know Kelly's planning on doing a fingering weight pattern in the future of this same design. I'm sure she's still like grading it out and stuff, but this was a really quick knit. It uses mosaic knitting, which is a technique I really love. Basically, you're just slipping stitches and doing stripes to make this cool pattern. I had started using white and like a mint green, and it looked so good. I really like the low contrast, but my mint skein also had some speckles of like dark blue, and those speckles were really muddying up this color work, and so I had to undo my sock and redo it with some more tonals because the speckles were just like too busy for this. So I'm really happy with how this turned out, but I do want to do some kind of low contrast something with that mint yarn because it just looked really nice. This was my first sock. I love how it turned out. The second sock, I don't know what I did. It's a little bit looser, unfortunately. And I mean, if you knit two socks separately, though I did them one after the other, yeah, I'll just have to block them together because the back sock is the one, it's just like a little bit looser, unfortunately. I don't know how well you can see this, but the white on this second sock is a lot more green. I don't know what I did. I'm wondering if maybe for the first sock, I was super careful. I used like cool water and color catchers and did all the things. And then nothing happened. So it was great. And so I totally forgot that I did all those things to stop the color bleeding in the second sock. And I just blocked my second sock normally. And so now it's like slightly green. What really bothers me is that they don't match perfectly. As far as like sizing goes, it's like pretty subtle of a difference. They have the same exact round count. So it's really just like a little bit of a difference. I think I'm going to just block both of these together and see if I can kind of make the differences between the two socks less obvious. That's my own dang fault. But I wanted to block with one sock when it was done so I could have it ready for the pattern release and like, you know, take a picture and whatnot. But hopefully by blocking everything again together, it can kind of even things out. My final finished object is the Blackbird Cowl by Maggie Fangman, and this came in her Butcher and Blackbird book box that she did for the month of February that I purchased. And here is the cowl. Isn't this so cool? So it's mostly color work. There's a Latvian braid on the top and bottom. And I got to choose both this motif and this motif. I got to choose between two different motifs. And then this one was just the same for everybody. So these are all images inspired by the book Butcher and Blackbird. I have a vlog where I read the book, opened the box, opened all the packages like on the correct pages of the book, and then worked on this project. So make sure to check out that vlog. I'll link it up above and down below. But I'm really happy with how this turned out, and I loved this color palette that they chose. I have a little bit of yarn left over, probably enough to make like a hat or something if I wanted to, but I don't have any plans. I had a good time making this cowl. It is on the smaller side circumference wise, and so it's like nice and cozy on your neck. So it would be really great for the really cold weather. So yeah, I'm really happy with how that turned out. My color work tension is not perfect, but it is good enough for me. And I didn't have any crazy like color bleeding or whatnot. Let's see if I can remember the colors that I used. They have hilarious names, especially if you've read the book. This pink is called Accidental Cannibalism. This dark gray is called The Butcher. This light gray is called She's Mine. This black is called Blackbird. And this white is called Cream. Those are all the colors that came in the box, and I know that Maggie's going to have kits available from her store, so make sure to check out Yarnacious Fibers if you are interested in making this Save as That cowl, or if you just love the colors. Yeah, I'm really happy with how this turned out, and I'm also happy with my experience reading the book. So if you want to learn more about that, make sure to check out that vlog. I feel like I moved through that section really fast. Pretty quick to talk about those makes because I didn't have like a lot to say. All the test knits I did turned out really well. Like they're all designers I trust and I've worked with in the past, and so they were all good testing experiences. It's just good to use some stash yarn, and I had probably too many test knits going on at once. I still have one more test crochet project to share with you, so let's get right into that. And actually for my works in progress, I only have crochet right now, so I need to cast on like a sock or something to take with me to work. But I have, this is the Floret Shawl by Jessica of JS Threads, who is one of my friends online, and she designed this shawl, and it's really fun to see it like come to fruition. This test is due in about a week, and I finished the main body of the shawl. Let's see. So it'll be kind of like this. It is a fade. Some of the fading is not my favorite. Based on the estimate of yardage for this pattern, I had a mini skein set of like 30 to 40 grams each for like 6 different colors, and I felt like I wasn't gonna have enough. So I added a couple other colors for my stash, and they kind of broke up the fading. So like this variegated kind of breaks it up. And then I used this teal that's almost exactly the same as this teal, and so it almost seemed like one really long color. Yeah, not like my favorite, but like it's just like a general, but it's just like a general fade. I think it honestly in general looks really nice. It's just like some of the color changes are like more drastic than I anticipated. But I think this is a really good stash buster, especially if you're trying to use up some scraps and whatnot. But it is crochet, uses the moss stitch, so it's a nice lovely drape. And I just finished the main body of the shawl today. I am now working on the border, which is this really beautiful lace pattern. Let's see, do I have my swatch? I think I do. It's this really beautiful lace pattern that's going to be on the edging. So I'm excited for that. I just did one row in the color I'm using for right now. I'm not sure if I'll need to use another color or not, but I have a couple more colors in this set, so I am totally fine on yardage. I probably would have cut it a little close if I hadn't added the extra mini skeins in to kind of make my mini skein set stretch farther. Probably would have been cutting it a little too close. But now I have plenty of yarn for sure. And I just did the one row so I could make sure that I have enough stitches to start the next bit. I just figured it would take a little bit more like counting and concentration. I just wanted to get that part done, and now I can just look at the pattern and do the like lace repeat, which will also take some work, but at least I don't have to worry about like setting it up. It's already set up, ready to go for doing the lace bit. The majority of these colors are from Marinated Yarns in their in their Smooth Sailing Radiant. And it is, let's see, 80% superwash merino, 10% cashmere, 10% nylon. Fingering weight yarn from Marinated Yarns. Smooth Sailing. So it was like a teal gradient from like dark to light. Other than pastels, teal is one of my colors that I enjoy. I'll be happy to have this finished and blocked and like ready to wear. It'll be really fun being from like the same color family, but also like having multiple colors going on. It'll be a really fun pop of color, especially moving into the spring. The other pattern that I have that I've been working on is actually an amigurumi project, and I only have part of a head done. So I think this is gonna stand maybe like this tall or so. It's got big ears, so you know, I'm not exactly sure how. But this is going to be based off of an Eevee Pokemon. And so I found a free pattern online. I can share that with you down below. It's from One Up Crochet. And my brother and sister-in-law are having a baby, and they really like Pokemon, especially my brother-in-law. And so I thought it would be really fun to make them a little Eevee toy for their baby that's coming in just a couple months. The baby shower's on Saturday, so I gotta really work on this a lot. I'll probably, after I get this footage uploaded, I'm gonna take a break from doing like computer work, and I'm just going to watch some YouTube or listen to my book while I crochet on this. I also am working Friday night, and so hopefully I can get a lot of work done on it on Friday night too. But the more work I can get done before then, the easier time I'll have on Friday night and like Saturday morning, like not stressing about finishing up before the baby shower, because the gifts I actually ordered from the registry are probably not gonna get here in time for the baby shower. So I'd love to give them something. So that's the goal. I had this brown in my stash. I do have a handful of colors in my stash that work great for amigurumi of just like the worsted weight acrylic yarn. And so it was perfect. I had this already. And then I didn't have a cream. And so I bought cream the other day. Loops and threads. This is soft classic acrylic, not a line of yarn from them that I've used. It's nothing super exotic. It's just worsted weight acrylic in the color Off-White. So there you go. So I'm really excited to make a little Evie and to work on some of this like stash yarn that I just like don't use very often because I like to work with a lot more hand-dyed colorways just for the nature of the projects I work on, and I really like supporting the smaller makers more than like the big box stores. And I've found that I really like the feel and smell of wool and things, and just like the nature of hand-dyed yarn is just like really pretty to look at for me rather than just like solid colors as much. So I have like older stash yarn from before I started purchasing a lot of hand-dyed yarn, and I don't use as much. So I'm happy that I get a chance to do that, and I really want to work through some of that older stash. I would love to downsize and have all of my stash just in my shelving so I can use the closet for other things. I've got some like other craft supplies and other like storage things, and it would just be nice to be able to take out the like bin or two of old yarn and just not have that anymore, and to be able to organize, maybe put some of my daughter's extra toys that aren't in rotation in there, I think would be really nice, especially because in the long term, I see us making this office space more of like a playroom or like another bedroom for kids. We only have one right now, and she's upstairs and she's got her little playroom, but even as she grows older, she's not going to fit into that kind of a space the same way as she gets older. She's only 3 right now. And if we have any other kids, then, you know, need to expand things. So I would love to make our like downstairs, like bottom floor bedroom into like a little office area, but that's always in the future. But if I can use up some of my yarn stash, especially the stuff that's in the closet, then that would be awesome. Put it to good use. I have not done a lot of amigurumi recently, and I would like to get back into it because I feel like they're really fun toys, and my daughter is really liking the amigurumi toys I've made her in the past. Like, she's in a mood where she really likes her stuffies, especially the ones I've crocheted. She sleeps with her unicorn stuffy right now. They're just like a really fun gift, like really meaningful, especially since in all the years I've crocheted, I feel much more confident now than I was like 2 or 3 years ago at doing amigurumi and like using techniques that'll work really well at like stuffing this appropriately and making sure it's stiff enough, and like if I want to do something that's more like movable limbs or, you know, things like that, like I know a bunch of tips and tricks, and so I feel really successful at making amigurumi, but I just don't do it often enough. I should do it more. I think those are all the projects I worked on, just trying to finish those tests. I feel like I should start something new, something bigger. But also, I have a couple of projects that have lingered that I haven't worked on in a while. I've got my Book Society box yarn to make like squares for like a big blanket. I should work on those squares. That's also a crochet project. I also have my Grove Shawl Light. I gotta find out which row I am in that pattern because I haven't worked on it since like the first week of January probably. I should work on that again. That's another like pretty easy knit. I just gotta figure out where I am in the pattern so I can do the right amount of repeats and whatnot. I should cast on maybe like a hat or something quick and small that I can bring with me to work. I love having a small work project so that if like things are not crazy busy, or, you know, especially on night shifts, I can have something to work on. So that's all I've been working on recently. I'm not sure what I'll work on next. I am kind of just going day by day trying to finish things that I have like made commitments for, and then probably after Saturday, after I finish this amigurumi, and after I finish this test, then I can just kind of figure out what is calling to me in the moment, because I'm not sure. And I've got lots of inspiring yarns to choose from. Make sure to follow me on Instagram if you're wanting to see what I decide to work on next, because I'll probably share my journey as I'm like, this is what I'm thinking. This yarn is inspiring. What should I make with it? Like maybe ask Instagram what kinds of projects you would like to see from me. I'll make sure to link it down below if you want to follow me over on there. All right, I've got some fun Yarnie related purchases to share with you today. Quite a few little yarn goodies. Some of them were like surprises and some of them were like purchased intentionally. So it's just kind of fun to see, and especially as I'm learning more about myself and the things I like to make, the yarns I like to buy, and I'm kind of narrowing in on like what I want my making to be. First, I participated in Desert Vista Dye Works monthly sock club last year. This year is their last year doing it, which is a little sad. I was ready to be done. I did it for a year and a half straight, and so don't regret taking a break for this year. This is the yarn that I got because I participated in every single month in 2023, and this was their special colorway. It's called Desert in Bloom. So everyone who participated all 12 months got this free skein of an exclusive colorway. I feel like I'm gonna really like how this looks worked up. I got number 20 of 75, so only 75 people completed all 12 months, which is crazy. I'm so excited. Definitely not like immediately my color palette. Maybe a color palette that my husband might like more. I think it's DK. Yeah, I got DK socks, so those should work up really fast. So yeah, just kind of fun, different. It'll be fun to work on these and remember how hard I worked throughout last year doing a pair of socks or a hat or something every single month of the year in order to earn these socks. So I'm glad I did it, but I'm also glad it's over and I can make stripy socks whenever I want and not like on a schedule. Another like pseudo surprise yarns that I got, I purchased the Zayden Ryerson Has My Heart Valentine's box from Fango Fibers, and I'd not purchased any kind of box or advent or countdown or whatever from her before, and so this was fun to just try something different. I read Fourth Wing. I loved it. I do really like Zayden, and so I thought this would just be fun to try, like getting like a little book inspired box, you know. I was a fan of Fourth Wing, and so this is what came. And let's see, do I have anything else around? I'm trying to keep track of where my things are. Okay, I think I grabbed everything that came with this package, but it came with 2 skeins of yarn. This one is called Daggertail Dragon. It's hard to see, but it's like a dark blue. So pretty. And this is inspired by Scale. How do you pronounce that? Skagel? And this one is inspired by Zayden. It's called Shadow Daddy. Both of these are 80/20 superwash merino and nylon blends, finger and weight yarn. Look at this. Not my color palette necessarily, but I'm positive I can find good uses for this yarn, especially because this blue is so pretty, and this like black and gray will be like really fun to see worked up. These are both colors that I could potentially use for my husband's socks if I make him something, or for like my dad or brother or something. I don't make a lot of things for other people, but I do make some things, and so maybe these would be good for that. I don't quite know what I would make with them, though. I should have known based on the inspiration that like the colors that came probably wouldn't be like my perfect like pastel speckly colors, and they're still really beautiful, and I'm excited to see what I end up making with them, but they're not anything I'm feeling inspired to work on now. But it was really fun to open on Valentine's Day. Even though I do have a Valentine, I'm married. It was just like fun to be able to participate in that, especially for like a book character that I really like. It also came with this bag, probably thinking about Zayden Ryerson. And then it came with this candle, which I love. It's called Zayden Ryerson. It's got Palo Santo, citrus, zesty bergamot. Fourth Wing, Shadow Daddy. It smells so good. And like, it's got this cool swirl in it too, which is really fun. But it's this nice, like cozy, musky type of a smell. So that's really fun. I'm gonna put that with my other candles. Yeah, perfect cozy vibes. So yeah, that was like a fun little package that I ordered. I might do it again, but maybe I'll be more discerning about what colors would come, and not just buy something because it's like inspired by something I love, but like buy something because I think that it'll be something I'll enjoy working on. Though there's nothing wrong also with just, you know, supporting a small maker, having fun and making a purchase that's a surprise, but also nothing wrong with deciding that this yarn is going to be for gifts. I'll just make something for somebody else with this that I think would really love this yarn. I think that is also totally valid. I don't have to purchase yarn that fits in with my color palette and aesthetic all the time. I can branch out and then use that yarn for other people if I don't feel like I want to make something for myself with that yarn. Another Valentine's Day specific purchase that I made was this sock set from Dime Wishes Yarn Co. And it was like a limited edition. Only had like 10 like sock sets in stock or something like this. But this is the color Kiss Me with, I'm gonna guess, Red Hot and Electric Love. So fun, so cute. I adore this. And when I say my colors, I'm not necessarily like a super bright person, but this single skein is all me. I love me a good speckle. I love me a good pastel. And these contrasts will be beautiful. I'm not sure what I'll make. I'm thinking maybe I'll have like athletic stripes near the top of the sock or something. I don't really know. It'd be fun. I'm going to use both these contrasts, I think, because I love a good coordinating contrast color that like matches perfectly with like speckles in the main color. So this is my ideal sock set. It's beautiful. I'm so excited. I was thinking I might cast on Valentine's Day, but I ended up doing other things and I just haven't gotten around to it yet. But these will make perfect Valentine's Day socks. All right, so for this purchase, I bought some yarn from Teeny Button. They did like a book trope mini collection. I bought a couple sock sets from that. And then I had been eyeing some yarn from Teeny Button for forever, and I finally just decided to purchase it too. So I'm happy that I finally did that instead of just like pining for this yarn. So I'll show you the sock sets I got first. This is a Slow Burn. And it's this nice, like, kind of like a bright pinky orange, some purple and blue. It's a really complex color, so I'm really excited to see how it works up with this really pretty, like, very tonal mini that's like purple, but then you look closer and you're like, actually there's pink, actually there's blue. So it's like a really dimensional tonal as well, which is really cool. So this is fun. A slow burn. I love me a good slow burn romance. These might have been romance specific book tropes. I can't quite remember. And then this one is called Enemies to Lovers. I love this one. Different shades of purple. There's like a little bit of pink kind of zapped in there. And then this purple is like much moodier than the other. You can see the difference. Super fun. I love this one. This one is a little bit more predictable for me, but this one will be really fun to see what this looks like when it's all worked up. I love these random like teal speckles. I think they are so fun. And then the yarn I've been eyeing for a while. Ta-da! I think it's from their like holiday or Christmas colorways. And I really wanted all of these together. I thought they worked so well together, and I wanted to make a Stella quilt cushion. And that's partly why I was like inspired to buy a Teeny Button, their Sunday countdown calendar in December. I was thinking I was going to make a Stella quilt cushion out of that. And then I felt like those colors all stood really well on their own, had lots going on, and so I didn't necessarily want them all to be next to each other in like a Stella quilt cushion. I tabled that idea, but my original idea before I bought the countdown calendar was to make a Stella quilt cushion out of these, and I think that this will be a much more cohesive type of a pattern using all four of those colors. Let's see, this one is called Gingerbread, this one is called Cinnamon Sugar, this one is called Mulled Wine, and this one is called Sugar Plum Fairy. They all work really well together, and I'm just really excited to see how these are. They work really well together. There's like definitely like color coordination between all four of them, but they're all very distinct enough that I think that they will stand out on their own in like a Stella quilt cushion type of format. So I just need to find a main color to work with these, maybe like an off-white or something. I'll probably go to my local yarn store, see if they have like Cascade Heritage or something that'll work in a color that I like to get started on that kind of a project. Super fun, very yummy. Definitely makes me think of food, cozy treats. Finally bought those that I've been eyeing for like months, and I had not purchased them yet. So having the romance book tropes yarns available in a collection finally like gave me the push I needed to just like make a larger order from Teeny Button. So I already showed you my Blackbird cowl. So I already put the yarn away because I just got some scraps left, maybe like 20 to 40 grams left of each of the like skeins. Most of the skeins are 50-gram skeins, but I did have one full skein. I put all the yarn away from my cowl because they're all leftovers now, but I'll show you really quickly the other things that came in that box, which was really fun to be able to open all the other little things in there too. So let's see. It came with besides the yarn and the pattern as well, It came with Monster Stitches stitch markers that I've already used some of, with some fun acrylic shapes. Yeah. Let's see, there's also this Good Earth Heal All Balm, which smells really good. It's like, what's the smell? Sweet basil vanilla. It smells like the Renaissance Fair, like the apothecary booth at the Renaissance Fair. Perfection. I got cookies and cream chocolate bar. If you've read the book, you know why I haven't eaten this yet. Also came with, from Lily Faith, there's this wooden blackbird pin and a blackbird in the rose hips little notebook, unlined, so you can do whatever you want with it. It's cute. And then this little like wood container for some tapestry needles. Lots of really fun goodies, and I'm excited to see what comes in the next box. I've purchased the next one. They're reading A Touch of Darkness by Scarlett St. Clair, I think is what it's called. So it's another like darker romance. It's a Hades and Persephone retelling, I think, and so I'm excited to enjoy reading that and see how much I like it, and if I want to purchase the book for that, and see what kind of goodies are included, because that was really fun to be able to open that box from Yarnie Fibers. Highly recommend. If you know of any like book inspired yarn boxes or whatnot, send them my way, because I would love to try out other options as they're becoming more popular, to share them with you in vlogs. And then the final yarn goodie that I have to share with you is The Sock Project by Summer Lee. This is her new book, and it's sold out in most places, which is really exciting for her. I pre-ordered this months ago, and I'm really excited to have it come in. I don't know why I love like a book flap cover. It just elevates it. But there's a whole bunch of patterns in here, as well as techniques for working on all sorts of socks. There's like so much. This is like a really sizable book. I have plans to go through this. I have my book darts, which I really like to do, to like just mark the pages for the patterns that I really like, that I hope to come back to. To be honest, do I ever come back to those patterns? Not nearly often enough, but I want to go through this. I've heard that it's really funny and really interesting and engaging to read. So I'm hoping to read through this, make some notes with my book darts on like patterns or techniques I want to try, and kind of work my way through this. I have a Discord book club that I started when I started reading A Stash of One's Own by Clara Parks, just for Yarnie people to talk about books. I was wondering if I should maybe do like a read along / knit along for this book, but I also don't know what to do. So if you want to join in like a book club about this book and do like a make along and just kind of share what we're working on from this book, let me know. I'll make sure to link my Discord down below in case you want to join. I kind of want to make it both a space where we can talk about any books that you're reading that you want to talk about, but also something that ties in with the yarn world. So whether it's like a nonfiction book about yarny things, or whether it's a fiction that has yarn or knitting elements, or whether it's like a pattern book, or you know, there's a few different things within that realm that would be fun to just kind of share with other makers. And so that's kind of my thought for that Discord. It's moving slowly, hasn't gotten off the ground as much as I would have liked. I'd love to have more people to get involved, and I also need to like read things faster. I think I just was really slow reading A Stash of One's Own, and I'll talk about that in the vlog that is coming out sometime this month, because I finished it. Yay! So I'll share my experience reading it then. You can check out my most recent February reads video where I talk about all the books I finished in February, and A Stash of One's Own is one of those, so you can hear a little bit about my thoughts on that book. Do you want to do a little book club about this book? I think it's super fun. I'm excited to dive in and take a good look. That'll be some really fun reading, I think, to do in the evening one of these nights. All right, so that is everything for us today. I think this definitely felt a lot faster than I'm used to for a podcast, and I think it's because I'm doing my book talk. I don't have a book talk. I'm doing my book talking in a different video, and so I'm kind of splitting my interests. Makes each video a little bit shorter, which is nice. So if you're only interested in one or the other, or if you don't want to sit for a very long time, you might like having the shorter videos. So let me know what you think about that. Other than getting braces, there's not really much going on with us. We had a big snowstorm the other day, but it's all basically melted by now. It's back in the 40s, which is nice. I went on a nice little hike last week. I'm hoping that I can get out and do some more hiking throughout this like springtime before the weather's too hot, and hopefully take my daughter out for a little bit too. She wants to go hiking with me. So hopefully we can find some fun spots locally to go visit. Just working, just chugging along. Yeah, not much else new is going on with us. I got braces. I've wanted to get braces for a long time. I didn't get braces growing up. My brother got them though, and I just always wanted braces, and now I have a big girl job with some dental insurance, so now is the time to do it. Guesstimated time is maybe like 18 months, so not too long to have braces. Hopefully shorter than that would be even better. I'm still getting used to them. Still a little bit tender for like eating and stuff. So we'll see if that improves at all, but I'm doing way better than I was the first couple days where like I was taking medicine around the clock and like I could only eat like oatmeal. Doing better. I've already seen my teeth shifting around, which is like great. That's the point. It's taken a lot of time, all the oral hygiene to like clean around my braces, but we're going strong. We're gonna do this the right way, and I'll be excited to get my braces off in like 1 to 2 years. I do apologize for how my braces are impeding my speech, but I'm trying my best to be clear, and hopefully the more videos I film and the longer I have my braces on, the clearer my speech can be. So thank you again for showing me a little grace as I'm getting used to my braces. I think that's all for me. Like literally we don't do anything. I'm going on a trip in like a month or so to visit my family, so that'll be fun to talk about. But we've mostly been hanging out. I feel like January felt like it took forever. February flew by, and now we're in March. Time is moving. Time is moving and grooving, and I am almost to the point where my hours are decreasing at work, where I'm only going to be working 2 12-hour shifts a week, and I'm so excited to have less of a time burden placed on my family for me to go to work to do that, to be able to spend more time at home. Looking forward to that. I don't know what I'll do with that time. Probably spend a little bit more time with my daughter, do more around the house. That extra time will disappear pretty quick, I'm sure, but it'll be really nice to not have to go travel to work as often. That's all that's going on with us. There's not much. Thank you so much for joining me as I shared everything I've been knitting and crocheting on recently. If you like this type of content, make sure to subscribe down below, and also follow me on Instagram to kind of see my day-to-day, what I'm working on, and the things that I may be asking my followers for input, especially as I'm trying to figure out new projects to cast on once I finish the couple obligations I have this week. And I'd love to hear down below what you're working on, so make sure to leave a comment so we can chat about the things that we are making. Until next time, happy making. Bye!